Hey, JobTread pros, I'm going to run through a portion of my Zap that will create Google Drive folders and then also put the link to those folders into my JobTread record. So that could work on the customer record or the job record. And so the first place to start is with a trigger. And the trigger could really be anything. And that it really doesn't matter. It could be on the job level, it could be on the customer level, and whatever that is for you. For me, in my example here, is I'm looking for my trigger ultimately really is customer updated. But then when I filter down through this path, the trigger essentially becomes when my lead status changes to first appointment. So for us, practically, that means when the client is going to come into our showroom and we're going to meet with them after their home visit to go through parts of their project. So the first part of the action for the Zap is for Google the event is called create the folder. So we're going to create the folder, grab that, click down through this to the account and to the actions. And however you have your drive set up for Google, this will work for Dropbox or OneDrive or whatever other ones are out there. I can't remember them all. But for me, I've got a client documents folder, drive, I should say, and then under client documents, I have a couple different folders. Let me go back to the top here. All right, so I have the showroom visit. So that's the one I'm looking for. So I've selected that. And so that's really kind of placing where the folder is going to sit, and then I can name my folder. So for my naming convention, I've chosen a last name, space, parentheses, and the location, really the street address. But this could work any way you want to work there, whatever your naming convention is. So I've already done the test here. So I'm just going to cruise through that. So the complication sort of comes in here if you're just trying to create a single folder, or maybe a variety of multiple single folders, you can just kind of replicate this process. But if you're trying to create a folder that's nested, this is the step that you'll want to take to nest this folder under the client folder. So again, the event or the action is called create folder, and you'll want to continue down through the account, and you'll see the drive is the same as the previous. So that we're still in the client documents drive. The parent folder now, however, this is dynamic data. So what we're looking for is this ID related to the folder we just created. So if I go to the client folder I just created, you'll see this ID here. This is the part that's telling it to sit under that folder. So you want to grab that, and then once again, name your folder, whatever you want to name it, continue. And I'm going to go ahead and test it real quick. So I'll show you, this is my example. So there's no sales folder currently sitting under there. But when I go to retest this, give it a second to run. All right, you can see it just popped in. So it's 702, just ran. And it's nested under this client's folder. And that's how that works. So I have another action that does a similar thing. And so that will nest under there. So you'll see under my main folder, I have a sales folder and a working design files. Now, we can take it another level. I want to nest a folder under this design files. So you can see that's empty currently. And so we've already got this folder. So I'm going to jump ahead to this one. So the same theory applies. We want to find the parent folder ID. So if you look at the numbering system here, it's number 38, which is my previous step. And that's the parent folder ID that I'm looking for. So I'll go down into here, go to step number 38, because that's the folder I'm desiring to nest under. And then I'll select that. It'll show up there. Once again, name the file however you desire. I'll retest this step. Jump over here, and it just showed up. So that's how you can create nested folders. So you can carry that out as many times as you would like. The part that the end of this whole Zap piece right here is actually putting the Google Drive link back into the client's account. So it could be on their customer record or it could be in the job record. For me, I originate the documents while they're a customer, and then once it becomes a job, I copy the link into their job. So it's duplicated. I have two ways to get to their Google folder. So when I go down to the action, so this is back on, now we're in a JobTread action. So you want to select your organization. And the first part of this is you got to find your customer. So I said kind of previously, your trigger doesn't matter, but the trigger, if the trigger is anything related to your JobTread customer or JobTread job, you're golden, you're fine. You can figure out your customer ID from here. If you're doing another action or another trigger, I should say, you're going to have an intermediary step, and you're going to have to find a membership of some type to ultimately you need to get to what your account ID is. And for this account ID, it's this particular customer. Once that's established, so in my case, I've got my account ID. I'm going to scroll down here, and this is the Google Drive folder. And you'll see a lot of these systems have a very similar naming system. They've got a base URL that they use, and then there's dynamic data that you can add in here to create the actual specific link for your customer. So if I go to Google again here, you'll see this is the kind of the base URL / and then this is my dynamic data. So what you want to do is grab the first part of the URL. So that's a custom field. You'll just paste that in there. But to tag this on here, I want to link my parent folder, which was number 36. That's my hierarchy high level folder. So then you go back to number 36 down here, select the ID, it lands onto the end of that URL, and you're good to go. And that's how you can create some folders, create some nested folders, and ultimately link that back into your JobTread account.